Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with a Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers Show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SteelFlyers Podcast with your host, SteelFlyers.
Thank you, and that is our delightful and lovely co-host, Ronies. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in and checking us out. Really appreciate you being here for the show. We got a lot of stuff to get into, so we're going to just dive right on in, shall we say?
Sounds good to me.
I mean, let's face it, there's been a lot of things going on, especially with some of our favorite teams, and a lot of things going around the league, both in professional leagues and all over the place. So we're getting close to that time.
Everything's gearing up, isn't it?
That's right. Hockey season's just around the corner, where training camp's going to be starting up here in about 3 weeks, and NFL is in full swing now of the preseason, with final preseason games, some of them happening tonight, a la Pittsburgh versus Atlanta, in Atlanta.
Go Pittsburgh.
And, of course, we got the college football season is
soon upon us.
Soon upon us as well. That's going to be happening in 2 weeks. And just right around the corner, starting next weekend, the open-wheeled guys are in Formula One from their break.
So, silly season is over.
No, we're just getting into the heart of silly season is coming up here. It's going to be interesting how things are going to shake down. But can Verstappen keep the stranglehold for the second half of the season, or will anybody else be able to step up and...
I don't think so.
No, I don't either. Yeah, and I think that's a foregone conclusion.
Verstappen has the lock right now.
He just has the car.
Right, unless his car for some reason falls apart, which I don't see happening, because he's not Ferrari. But
careful how you say that. We Tifosi get very offended. I mean,
tell
seriously.
the truth.
Yeah, right. Like, what's going on, Ferrari? What are you doing? You got some talented drivers now. You got some people now that can do some damage, and you're just not giving them the car. You're not giving them the
support,
or the team lets them down because they can't do pit stops, or the strategies are all wrong.
Do we need to get Tony Shalhoub out there? Pit stop.
Well, he wasn't the guy that...
I know, but he was the one who
He
employed pit stop.
Oh, he employed pit stop. Yeah, pit stop. Yeah. So, so a lot of things are going to have to happen there for that. So, the first thing I want to do is welcome everybody and thank you for joining us. And we'd like to say a special thank you to Spreaker for getting us out to all of the podcasting platforms out there. So all you have to do is go to your favorite podcasting platform like Google or iHeart or Apple or Amazon or Spotify and type in SteelFlyers, and the podcast will come up there, and you just hit the like and give us the 5 stars. That helps us get ranked. So really appreciate that, and thank you guys very much for all your listens, likes, subscribes, and follows. Can't thank you all enough. That's why we're here, for you guys and for doing it for you. Thank you all very much.
So who do you want to talk about first?
Well, since we're talking about dog days of summer are upon us, and during those dog days of summer, that usually equates to just exactly what we talked about at the very beginning, where football season is just around the corner, and some of the final preseason games are going to happen this week or this weekend. And I got to tell you something, man. The Steelers.
Yeah, my favorite moment so far is probably everybody's favorite moment. That is Joey Porter Jr.'s first interception and handing the ball to his dad in the stands. That was very cool.
From a human standpoint, that is the story of the week. You know what I mean? Because, and the fact that he's wearing Ike Taylor's old number.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, there's And Ike Taylor was there, and there was a social medias back and forth with him and Joey Porter Jr. And that's really cool that he's wearing Ike's old number. And I'll tell you what, man, it just looks real nice seeing a number 24 out there again. That although it doesn't have Taylor on the back, it says Porter
Junior
on Junior on the back. I'll take that all day.
So how long before people just start calling him Junior? Just leave off the just, hey, Junior!
No, I think he's always going to be, he's either going to be JP Jr. or JPJ or something like that. I've seen some of those JPJs and stuff like that too. So now I think he has an opportunity right now to make a name for himself. And that's exactly what this boils down to, is making a name for himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And is he good enough to be that person? Yes, I do think he is going to be that good. I think he has room to grow.
Well, he is only a rookie.
That's... So, I had an opportunity to watch him play at Penn State for his 3 years. And every year he got, definitely got better every year. And he's got really good body stretch and really good, control, and is able to, get to the high point of balls and things like that. You know what I mean? Is able to do that combat catch. I mean, watching him in training camp against Pickens.
Yeah.
I mean, look, George Pickens is going to just be, he's like, I don't even know how to compare him. I don't know of any receiver that I could compare him to, because he's just out there on his own, I think. The style of catches that he makes and how he is able to, whatever he's able to do with I'm
looking forward to the Pickens and Pickett this year.
The Kenny to George.
Yeah.
The KP to the GP. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we got to see some of that in preseason, and man, oh man. Boy, I'll tell you what. I saw a couple of things out on social media the last couple of weeks, and, this is kind of how I'm at it. This is put up or shut up time for Mad Canada.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is his last chance.
If you can't with the... okay, on paper. Mm-hmm. On paper, Pittsburgh has got some talent on offense. Deontay Johnson... One of the, he's probably going to, I believe this could potentially be a breakout year. Potentially. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm really, really looking forward to George. Oh, I'm really looking forward to that. Oh. As a full-time starter coming in now, you know what I mean? And basically being the man.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. And with what we saw in the running game, even the very, very limited action that Najee Harris had, and I'm all for that.
Not stressing him before the season?
Yeah, because, oh my gosh, in the last 2 years since he's been in the league...
Gotten hurt.
Well, no, he's had the most carries by a significant margin over everybody else.
Okay.
Not just on the team, but in the league. Number of touches, number of hits, number of times he's been smashed up and, crunched and whatever. And so the least amount of time that he gets to have that, hey, I prefer to have a nice fresh, ready to go running back at the start of the season instead of one that's limping in after having an injury in
training for in the preseason or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't think he has to necessarily prove anything right at this moment. He's so very young and still so very talented and is still, hopefully, a very much more important part of this team. I also would like to see more of the Derek Watt or the fullback or flanker position be more utilized as well, just because I think we have talent there, especially with another way to get Connor Hayward on the field as well in that particular position.
Didn't he score a touchdown in one of the games?
Yeah, actually did. Yeah.
Okay.
Playing really good. And obviously Freiermuth. The Muth and the Allen Robinson put in. I'll tell you what, man. I'm excited about this wide receiver room now with Allen Robinson and Pickens, and Deontay Johnson and Freiermuth, and I think there's some real choice of weaponage, and then you add in Najee Harris, then you add in a Warren. Right?
Yeah.
Second guy on the running team, right?
Right.
So Thunder and Lightning, or whatever you want to call it. I don't care all it, right? Whatever, right? But you still got two good really running backs, and your third string running back, McFarland, isn't either.
Right.
So, And Warren has proven to be much better at picking up the blitzes and better at the third down situations. But I have to tell you that Najee Harris has gotten better over the years, and as that's become not necessarily a weakness for him now.
He's learning how to overcome.
Right. Yeah, exactly. See, he's learning how to do it. He's together. See, you know what I'm talking about here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say that this is why I'm put up or shut up for Matt Canada this year, because let's face it. On paper now, especially with some additions to the offensive line, the bolstering of the offensive line, the number one draft pick, with Jones being the number one draft pick. I mean, plus we also got Cole for center. We also got Herbig from the Jets. So I mean, the offensive line has gotten some depth and gotten some good players on it. And
hopefully, we'll see an improvement.
See, there you go. Hopefully, we'll see an improvement. See, I like the way you're thinking, Ronies. There you go. All right, now, what do you think about on the other side of the ball?
It needs some work, I think. They haven't quite gotten it, I think.
They haven't quite gotten it all there. You know, we haven't seen everybody either.
Well, that's true. And you don't try as hard in preseason, right. I think. So there was a couple missed tackles. There were a couple plays that were better.
Yeah, but mostly those were guys that were fighting to make the roster. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Most of your first-string guys really didn't see a lot of the field in the preseason. I mean, yeah, TJ got a couple of snaps, and, Alex Highsmith got a couple of snaps. And I don't even think Cam Hayward, unless he might be playing some tonight, I from what I understand, I think the whole first string is going to play sometime.
Yeah.
On both sides of the ball. I would assume this being the last preseason game, and then there's 17 days before the kickoff.
That seems a long time.
That is a long time. You know what I mean? So,
but that may not be a bad thing, because then you got some time to get healthy and rest up and.
Well,
some more practice. You got tape to look at now, and
let's say this, that if Pittsburgh comes out and isn't firing up on all cylinders against the 49ers for the opening game, then what?
Do you know the thing that I'm looking forward to with the offense? That Kenny Pickett gets to start.
Yeah.
That we don't have to
from day one.
That we should have brought him in sooner last year.
Agreed. He should have been, yeah. He
was starting to hit his stride just as the season ended. So if we had him earlier, maybe he would have hit that earlier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that whole, 3 weeks of training camp, and then preseason, and then all the way through the first 4 weeks of the season, he still wasn't even the starter. And all that time, just think if he was the guy, all that time, they might have had a couple more wins, and they might have made us. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Might have,
But, look, I think the defense definitely has had some bright spots with Joey Porter Jr. with his first interception, and then with the team still living up to the takeaway mantra that has been with the Steelers the last couple of seasons, with the interceptions coming fast and furious, especially against Tampa. I mean, holy smokes!
Well, not so much Tampa Bay, but the Buffalo.
The Bills. Oh, boy, that was really, oh my gosh. What, I hope that's not indicative of what's going to happen for the Bills. And we've been joined by the co-host. Hi. Yeah. How are you? Hi, co-host. Yeah. What are you doing? But like I said, I think there's been some good bright spots on the defense, but I think there's going to need to be some work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
There's potential, but it needs to be...
Yeah. I'm with you. And that's just it, too. I can't believe that in the first 2 preseason games, I think Kenny Pickett has maybe thrown 10 passes and maybe dropped back like 12 or 13 times total. I mean, I think he only has like 5 or 6 minutes of game time. I mean, I just...
I don't know. We'll see.
Hasn't played a lot, but holy smokes. When he's been in there, boy, he's looked really good.
You know what I see in, like, you know, when I see stuff about the Steelers or I see them on Instagram or whatever, they look happy. Like, the players seem like they're excited. I don't remember seeing that very much last year. There's a positive attitude. I don't know if that's just me picking up.
You know, that's a really astute observation, I think.
Because Kenny Pickett's he's out there signing babies and all that, you know, and...
That's true.
Literally signing babies.
No, I saw that, yeah. But, I mean, you know, that is a good thing to have. That's a good thing, I think, to have, especially for this team. Because, and I've heard all the naysayers say, oh, yeah, everybody's sleeping on Pittsburgh and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, look, y'all might be sleeping on Pittsburgh, but until I W's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Preseason's all fine and great. And even if we win all 3 preseason games, that's great. Cool. Right? Now, can you do it when it's time, when it means?
When it means something.
When it matters, right? When you got to start putting up W's against the likes of, you know, the Baltimores, the Cincinnatis, the Kansas Cities, when
it matters.
You know, now, the way the Steelers utterly dismantled the Bills in the second preseason game was quite surprising, I must say. I was expecting the Bills to have a much... I mean,
they're supposed to be good.
That's just it, with Josh Allen and everything, you know what I mean? And their defense just really, I mean, within the first couple of minutes, it was already 14-0.
Right.
10 minutes left in the first quarter. I'm like, okay. Quick little 62-yard run from Jalen Warren, and then a 25-yard pass, touchdown pass from Kenny Pickett. I mean, okay, I'll take it.
Why not?
And then he didn't see any more game action.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Like, I'm good, you know. I had my 4 or 5 days, and now I'm good, you know. And then it's still 10 minutes left in the first quarter. But, all right. Playing the third and final preseason game now as we're recording this, so he'll probably play at least. I'm anticipating the first string to play at least the first quarter, and then that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not gonna.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure unless Mike has got a burr, and maybe selling backers didn't go well or something during training camp, and you know, and so, but I gotta say now. So, well, what do you think about maybe? Do you want to throw out any predictions?
No, I really don't, because I don't know. I'll let you know after I see the first, real game. I think I'll have a better idea then.
That's a little late.
I don't know, because I want to be hopeful, and I want to, say this is going to be a great season, but I've thought that before, and we've had really bad seasons, so I don't know.
My take on it. If anything should happen to any of the starters.
Well, didn't Kenny Pickett get 2 concussions last year?
How you doing?
So we now know he's concussion prone.
Well, he has a history now, so I mean.
Right, that's easier to get one.
That's right, and so that doesn't bode well. And the fact of the matter remains that the quarterback room still has not changed, other than Kenny Pickett, for the last 2 seasons. It's now Mitch Trubisky again, along with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, see, that's what doesn't give me hope. If they're not making those changes, what else are they not doing?
I mean, look, I'm going to be, I have been so far, gone out on record. If you, by all means, if you guys check out 5-Star Matchup, you have to check out we'll be doing live shows this year. We'll be doing live radio shows maybe twice a week, depending on how things go. But you got to go check that out, 5-Star Matchup. And him and I do 5-Star Radio. So during the Steelers season, got to go check that out. But if you get hurt,
yeah, we're going to be in trouble.
We're going to be in trouble, man, because, look, let's face it, I don't care what anybody says, Mitch Trubisky just doesn't have that clock in his head or whatever he's got going on, and Mason Rudolph just doesn't have the clock in his head either.
Mason Rudolph, we've always said, thinks too much. He's trying to make the play perfect instead of just going with what's there.
Right? Yeah. You got to take what the defense is giving you. You can't always, facilitate how it's going to go.
Like, he's thinking, okay, this person needs to be here and this person needs to be here, and then I can throw the ball. But sometimes they can't get to that spot, and you got to go to that guy over there.
Yeah. So, 5-Star had a nice prediction. He had a winning.
Well, that's a good sign.
He had a winning season. I think he had 11 games.
I mean, if we can do better than last year, I'll be happy. How's that?
So 10-7.
Yeah.
So that's better than last year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And 5-Star was 11-6.
Okay.
All right. So. The problem is that some of the other teams in that the Steelers are going to be playing, I mean, they don't have the hardest schedule by any stretch of the means, but they still are going to be facing some teams that...
Well, we have to face Cincinnati, who's unfortunately the strongest team in our division.
Well, yeah. Right, and Baltimore, that's 4 tough games right there. Oh,
wait, the Browns are supposed to be back.
Yeah, the Browns have been coming back since Bill Belichick left. It's fun. They haven't really been able to put anything really seriously together since he's left.
And they always get these players, and this is the player that's going to save them, and this is the coach that's going to save them. It's going to turn things around, and it never does.
Never does. Well, one thing I'm going to say this about the Steelers, and then I think this is going to be it, and then I'd be with everybody on that. I think they're going to be better than they were last year. Gosh, I'm hoping they are, because if they're not, then some jobs need to roll.
I was going to say there need to be some major changes.
Yeah, and then we need to have a shift, especially if there's not a playoff berth this year. I don't care what the team's record is. I'm not going to predict a record. All I'm going to say is playoff berth, right? If there isn't one of those, heads should be rolling.
I mean, I would like to win a playoff game. We haven't won a playoff game in how long?
Making it to the second round? Hey, there's a novel concept. I mean, what do you know? Making it to the second round or even the championship game. Hey.
I'm not thinking that far ahead.
Anyway, I mean, worse things could happen or better things could happen, whatever. Okay, all right. All right, so I would like to kind of shift gears here a little bit if we could.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we're coming up here on 3 weeks for the start of training camp for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yay!
And there's a lot of buzz about this season, I would think. Yay?
Well, I've heard many things. I've heard that it's just going to be a rebuilding season. I've heard that...
Yes.
They're trying to make some big changes, not necessarily but like in attitude and how they approach the game. I'm not sure what I expect from them.
Okay. I can understand.
I want to expect like something good and go into season with hope that, hey, we're gonna win more games than we lose, but then again, they're the Flyers, so
yeah. I'm like so with you on that. Look,
I've heard the story before. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. That's kind of funny that you say it like that too, because now it's still kind of the same story. It's just coming out of different mouths.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, doesn't it kind of seem like that? Here's the thing, though. The mouths that are saying the things now, I think, really have a desire to bring Philadelphia back to prominence.
Well, I'm sure they have the desire. The question is...
But, yeah, okay.
Are they going to work to do that?
But just what I'm trying to say is I think that that's what's happening.
Okay.
I think that's the work that's going in. I think those are the things that are happening right now as Danny Briere is taking over as general manager, as Keith Jones is taking over.
Okay, I have to say it every time. I cannot believe Jonesy is our general manager. No.
Director of hockey ops.
I couldn't remember the
right,
title.
like Jonesy. Like,
wait a second. The guy that I've been listening to forever that's been calling the games.
Yeah, is now the director of hockey ops.
Is now in charge. Wait a second.
Wait, hold on. Now, here's the crazy thing. Let me just do a little quick tangent on this. Jonesy is a brilliant hockey mind. He's a very brilliant man.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, I've had a chance to speak directly to a guy that's worked with him for most of his broadcast career, which is Jim Jackson. Mm-hmm. And has always said about Jonesy's, eye for talent and smarts and knowing the game and knowing what's going on and having it, is definitely clued in.
Right. He knows what he's talking about.
Now, he's also said that, Jonesy had to work to be a good broadcaster. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And look at where he got to.
Right.
Right? He's doing Stanley Cup final games now national. Right? So, I mean, that's saying something. Do you know what I'm saying? When you're out there doing that kind of stuff. So,
right.
But now he's the director of hockey operations for the Philadelphia Flyers. Okay. Yeah, smart guy, and yeah, I get it. And he said something that really has impressed me.
What's that?
And this was said, I believe, at the end of last year, or maybe at the very beginning of the off-season. And he said, and I quote, "We need to get the excitement back in the building."
Yeah.
Okay? That's a direct quote from him, right? Mm-hmm. I'm here to tell you. This is why I have so much hope. I'm seeing some of the right things being done. I'm seeing some of the big, ugly, nasty, stupid contracts being removed or
traded or
whatever.
moved or whatever.
Whatever,
Like, I mean, there's been some changes, correct?
Yeah.
Like, what was this change you think they made?
Excuse me. I think the Provorov trade and the Hayes.
Okay.
Those were the two biggest names that went away.
And do you think they did that just to get them, or...
Okay, well, Hayes was not worth the money he was being paid.
Okay.
By any stretch of the word. I'm just calling it like a... Okay. And Provorov, look what he garnered us.
Okay.
Right?
Remind us what he did.
Well, we got Helge Grahn, we got Carl Peterson, and we got... we're only paying 30% of the rest of his salary through deal, right? And I believe it got us another first round draft pick.
Nice.
Which resulted in, wait for it, ding, Oliver Bonk.
Yes, and he was just signed to his entry contract, was he not?
That is correct, Umundo. And so he is the son of Radek Bonk. Is one of the top players coming out of the draft. He was drafted 22nd overall.
Okay.
In the first round by the Flyers. So I mean, I'm excited about what the future holds, because that's what done so far is basically restock the shelves with the prospects and the draft
Cleaned
picks.
house a bit.
And did that too, right? Cleaned house and got rid of some. I mean, JVR's no longer. He left, right? And Tony D'Angelo is now gone as well too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other players that I don't think are either going to be re-signed or may not be on the team for much longer either. Which is another thing too. Morgan Frost has not been re-signed.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be other players that are just going to supplant him and are going to be cheaper than going to be asking for. Because he made like $825,000 last year, right? So he's going to,
Yeah.
And I just don't foresee that happening. And I just don't think he's worth that kind of outlay of money. And I mean, that's just my opinion. So, okay.
People are excited about him, but
I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it. I think he's had plenty of opportunity. He's played with the likes of Giroux and Couturier and some of the other, Hayes, and played top-line minutes with some of those guys and just wasn't able to put it together. You know what I mean?
Right.
Last year he scored 19 goals. Like, all right, 19. Way to go. But still was a minus player. Still was, all right. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. And September 14th, I believe, is the report for camp for the Philadelphia Flyers. And
when do you think the preseason starts for them?
Like towards the end of September.
Beginning of October?
Yeah. Because the beginning of October is the start of the season.
Okay.
Yeah. So, players are already starting to come back.
Good.
Cam Atkinson's back. Couturier's back. Philadelphia, guys are starting to come back. You know what I mean? So, starting to train because everybody knows Twitter up is going to be, going to be tough.
Good. Should be.
I agree. I mean, this is the one thing about the Philadelphia Flyers last year that you can say that has been confirmed from the many of the years beforehand, and that was this: they came out of the gates on fire.
They did. They really did. They had a couple first few games were good.
I mean, but we were 12, 13, 14 games in. We were like, hey, all right. So this is what it feels like to win. And then. Then reality hit. but all right. So with that being said, that means the camp's going to be tough, right? And that means that the Philadelphia Flyers are going to be a team that, although they may not win the game, you're sure going to realize that you played in Philly.
Right.
Because you're going to go home sore and hurting and whatever.
So the next time you play them, you're a little more...
hesitant.
Yes.
You don't want to necessarily cross over there too. So there's also a lot of moves I think that the Philadelphia Flyers probably, or a move that could be made or that they would like to have made, and that's in regards to Carter Hart. That can't happen. That's another name that would potentially go away as well too, based off of how they drafted and they picked up 2 goalies in the draft, and then they re-signed Ersson. And then, the IIHF actually ruled in favor of the Flyers and said that Ivan Fedotov has to honor that contract with the Flyers. That is the one that needs to be honored, and the other one should be null and void. And the Russians aren't gonna sit down and take that easily.
No.
So I just hope that doesn't speak about things to come for Nichoff. Yeah. So I just hope that doesn't happen for him, and because he's lighting it up over there, and he's really, I mean, if Danny Briere is able to bring that player over here, then his draft for this year is a home run. If I'm able to bring him back in any time or shape or form,
then this draft is going to turn around and bite him, because he had an opportunity to pick a lot of players. In my opinion, he had an opportunity to pick a lot of players that could have been Flyers. I believe would be cornerstones, would be super helpful for the Flyers, would be here for many years to come.
Right.
And they didn't pick them. And all the teams around them, like the Capitals, the Rangers, the Penguins, Detroit, everybody else, all these players that Philadelphia had an opportunity to get.
Right. And they're going to turn out to be the Flyer killers.
Exactly. See, you. It's like she reads. It's like she knows.
It's like I live with the hockey fan.
Well, and for that I do apologize. Because soon it's going to be, I'm not going to see anymore.
We interrupt this for sports.
So there you go. So all right. What do you think the Flyers are going to look like this year?
I'm hoping best. I think they're going to have a good season. I don't think they'll have a great season. I don't think...
Well, what do you think is a good season?
They'll be above 500. They'll maybe make the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
But I don't see it going very far.
Wow, you are being... Wow, you're generously optimistic.
Okay.
Did you like that?
Generously
optimistic, right? Okay, did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll tell you what. Look, we've been talking about this on the Hockey Writers Inc., Lance and I, and Lance has written many articles about this, and look, Rome was not rebuilt in a day, and the Flyers are truly in a rebuilding year, or in a rebuilding state of mind, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Okay, all the way around, it's all rebuild time. And I think there's going to be some growing pains this year. Because we got all new front office staff, we got a lot of new training staff, a lot of new coaching staff. I think there's going to be a lot of growing pains this year. And what I mean by that is that I think that the Flyers are going to play hard and they're going to play tough, because that's the kind of Tortorella is, and that's the kind of system he has, and he's going to make players accountable.
Which he should.
Yeah.
I think there was a long time where players were not held accountable, and they could just pretty much do what they wanted.
That's a good way to put that. That is an excellent way to put that, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. And I think that's going to be the big change but also this year. Do you know what I mean? Where I think you're going to see that the Flyers are going to be a much different team to play against.
And just have some aggression and some want, I guess, is the
That's
word.
a good way. Yeah. Or maybe not want, but that would be a good way.
Or hunger or something.
Or sense of urgency.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, is a little sense of urgency. So I don't think the Flyers are going to make the playoffs. I really don't. I think they're going to be... I think they're going to be an improved team, but not on the record books.
Okay.
I think it's going to probably be pretty close to where they were last year, maybe potentially a little worse. And the reason why I'm saying that is there's a lot of ifs going into the season still.
Right.
There's a lot of ifs in Couturier, a lot in Cam Atkinson. Right? We have no idea who's going to make it out of camp. Right? Is some of these young kids going to play? And if some of the young kids are going to play, that means there's going to be mistakes. Right? And you're not necessarily going to get the best per se until maybe next year.
Once they've had a year to kind of gel and rebuild and
play with each other and learn how to look. You got to learn how to lose before you can learn how to win.
Okay.
Right? You have to walk through the manure before you can get to the roses sometimes. Right? And I just think that's how this is all going to pan out for the Flyers. I think it's going to be really good. Hopefully, if the Flyers can get Mitch Koff and he's able to come and play for the Flyers, man, I'll tell you what, be a coup. That would be a home run for Danny Briere for his first, because I think he is that type of player, that type of
generational type player.
Is he like an Ovechkin kind of player, or do you think he's...
I'm not going to say that, okay, because I don't want to, but he definitely stands out.
Okay.
Okay? I wouldn't... Look, Ovechkin is approaching Greg.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, okay. If he's approaching Gretzky, you don't want to just throw that comparison out there so willy-nilly like that.
Okay.
I wouldn't go that far, but he is going to be the type of guy that'll put butts in the seats. He could be that kind of guy that you could, hang his picture from the rafters and, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Or from the side of the building or whatever. And that's the kind of people that the Flyers need to get more of. They need to get more of those picks. So I think they need to be in the lottery for next season, for next year's draft. Because, doggies, there's going to be some picks for next year, too. And with Jay O'Brien not being signed by the Flyers, they garnered a second-round draft pick for next year.
Okay.
Right, for that. So they got 2 first and 2 second rounds.
Those are some good picks.
Those are some good picks, right? So there you go, man. All right. I'll take that all day long, right? And next year's draft is going to be deep as well, I think. More for the defensive side, but still going to be deep.
So this year was more of an offense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you saw a lot of forwards, a lot of centers, a lot of wingers go. I mean, you still saw a lot of, defenders and stuff like that, but I think there was more forwards taken this year than there was defenders.
Okay.
So
let's finish our sandwich of sports and talk about Penn State football.
Sandwich of sports.
Well, yeah, you got football, hockey, football. Sandwich of sports.
Okay, so the football is the bread and the hockey puck is the guts.
Right. Be kind of hard to eat, though.
I was just going to say, I'd much rather have that the other way around because footballs are really large and, Okay, anyway.
Taking it a little later.
All right, sorry. Hey, folks, how about that? Penn State. I'll tell you what. After last year, the whole crescendo of the Rose Bowl, the drafting of Joey Jr., the drafting of Sean Clifford, which, by the way, congrats to second-string quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
That's a good spot.
That's a flicking good spot, man. I'll tell you what, congrats, man. I mean, he's got some talent.
They got a new quarterback starting this year. They got, some potential. So, hey, all right.
Exactly. So, I mean, hey, congrats to Shawnee for landing the second string job up there in Green Bay as a rookie. I mean, as a rookie.
Yeah.
That's some good talent up there. So, congrats to that. How about this? Penn State's going to open up against West Virginia on the 2nd in prime time.
All right.
And not be necessarily a walk in the park against West Virginia.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Penn State's coming out ranked 7th.
Well, last year they weren't even ranked at the beginning of the season, were they?
No, they weren't.
So at least we're ranked this year.
Well, that's true, but the year that the previous year we came out ranked pretty high, and, well, that didn't turn out well.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, well, all right, coming out 7th. But I'm here to tell you now, it's like we said, it's the post-Sean Clifford era. And to begin with the Drew Allar and at Penn State. And the sophomore looks like he's definitely ready to reins and be the next starting quarterback. I mean, we saw flashes of him
last year, didn't we?
Last year, yeah. I mean, number 7.
Yeah.
And I saw flashes of him last year. Man, the kid's got some talent.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see how... they said he's had a really good fall camp.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot of touchdowns. So, I mean, of course he's got, some nice weaponage
Well, it helps if you have somebody to throw the ball to.
Like Lambert-Smith. Going to be wide receiver probably number 1, taking over, with the departure of some draft picks. Also, looking forward to seeing some more of Nich Singleton. Man, that kid just... They just exploded. He exploded last year, I thought, and I'm looking...
He did some really nice runs last year, did he not?
Yes, he did, and I'm looking forward to seeing... He's got that low, center of gravity, I mean, he's kind of like a wrecking ball when he runs. He's got some speed, but he's thick. All right, I'm done. But looking forward to a good, balanced offense, I think, up there in Penn State. I think that's going to be part of what's going to help propel them throughout the season this year. And looks like it's going to be a nice little schedule there for Penn State. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to work out, especially in the post-Sean Clifford era. As far as the defense is concerned, Hardy, the linebacker, Chop Johnson on defense.
His name is Chop?
Yeah.
Is that a nickname or is that his actual name?
No, that's not his real name. That's just what everybody calls
Chop
Johnson anyway. But
okay.
Looking forward to those two stepping up, and Roquan on the defense as well, stepping up and seeing how they're going to be playing this year. So I'm looking forward to Penn State this year. I think they're going to be probably to call them a Rose Bowl team again, man. Ooh.
You're wondering about that?
Ooh. I mean, they're coming out ranked 7th.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, right? Okay, now, how are the other teams? That's going to be... Well, we won't know until after the first rankings,
right?
Come out, and but I'm going to be interested to see how that's all going to shake down. Because that all depends on if Penn State wins,
right?
If they win, hey,
yay!
But if not, yeah, exactamundo. I really like what Penn State's doing this year. I really like their class of players, and I think Penn State is going to do. I just don't know if they're going to be in the mix for the playoff. If they're going to be playing a New Year's Eve or a New Year's Day game or anything like that. I don't know. I mean, it would be great, but
you don't know what's going to happen.
No, and I don't really have a feel on it just yet either, because it all depends on what Ohio State looks like. It all depends on what Michigan looks like. I mean, see, exactly, right? It all depends on what all these other teams
Notre Dame and
what all these other teams are going to look like and how things are going to shake down. So, but I'm looking forward to a really awesome season here for the Steelers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to say...
Always filled with hope in August.
Always. Everybody always looks good in shorts and helmets.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody looks good in shorts and helmets, right? But when you really got to strap it on and buckle it up, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So, I agree. I think Pittsburgh is going to be improved. How much improved they're going to be, I don't know. Is 10 wins going to be get them into the playoffs? Are they going to need to do 11 or 12?
Depends.
Exactly. It depends. And so if they're only good for 10, that may not be enough for the playoffs.
I would just like to not end the season going, I can't wait for next year.
Right. I'm with you on that. Flyers, you're going to have to end that season that way. I think the Flyers are going to be a harder team to play against. I think we're going to score some more goals. I think you're going to see that, hopefully, potentially, maybe if Couturier and Adkins and other players can step up and, whatever.
And we avoid a lot of injuries.
And we don't have any injuries exactly, and if that's the case, then the Flyers will be a much harder team to play against, and I'm really excited about this year. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, a little a smile comes down on us, and I'm just really hoping for that, because that would be really cool if that could happen. It would give us opportunity for some better insight, especially into the Flyers, and being able to give you,
good news.
Some good news, and also being able to give you, here it comes from the horse's mouth.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of what it would be. So we're hoping and reaching and praying for that. So, all right, anyway. So we'd like to thank everybody for joining us, especially thanks to you, Ronise, for...
Well, thank you for having me on.
It's always a pleasure, like you wouldn't even realize. So how's that?
Okay.
There you go. We'd like to thank everybody for listening and for tuning in and checking us out. We'd like to say a big thank you to Spreaker for all your help in getting us out there to all the podcasting platforms. All you have to do is go out to your favorite podcasting platform, Google, iHeart, Apple, Spotify, type in SteelFlyers Podcast, and boom, the show comes up, and we'd appreciate a 5-star rating, and that helps us get us ranked.
Or go to steel.com.
Or, hey, you could go to SteelFlyers.com and check out everything that the SteelFlyers All Sports Network is doing, from the Hockey Writers Inc., which is a Flyers-centric show, to the Nich Report, which will be coming out here again real soon.
To Prospect Watch?
Yep, to Prospect Watch, where we talk about hockey prospects from all over the world. And then, of course, this show here, the Great Steel Flyers Show. And, of course, the Hockey Writers Inc., so you can't forget about that, too. So thank you all very much for checking us out and tuning in. And we can't wait to catch you all in the next episode. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can at SteelFlyers52. And don't forget to go to the website at SteelFlyers.com. Just remember, folks, be safe, be strong, and hang tough.